For the pâte à choux, I have put in a cup of flour, to which I have added about an eighth of a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon, roughly, of sugar. I've got half a cup of water, half a cup of milk, which makes 1 cup of liquid that I'm going to put in the pan, to which I'm going to add my half a cup of butter, and we will heat that up. We are heating the milk, water, and butter in a pot. I've got it on a pretty high heat. As soon as this comes to a boil, which I think will take a little bit because that butter is still melting, it was pretty hard. If the butter is soft, of course, it will go faster. I use warm water from the tap to begin with to make the process a little more expedient. But once that comes to a boil, we are going to be adding all at once this flour and sugar salt combination, and we are going to be stirring. And it happens pretty quickly, and I'm going to need my hands free because it is pretty stiff to work with. I recommend a wooden spoon or a really strong metal spoon, although I've never used that, so I personally recommend a wooden spoon. And when that is done, I will show you what that looks like. Okay, it will be coming to a boil pretty soon, I am sure. The one thing I didn't mention is when it comes to a boil, you add the flour and you turn the heat off after you get that stirred through, and you put that back on the heat. That's going to happen seconds later, really. So we've got this, it's all smushed, it's coming away from the sides very nicely. It forms kind of a dough ball. And we're going to be transferring that into our kitchen. It is now in our KitchenAid. We're going to bring that up. We're using the paddle arm and or attachment, whatever you prefer to say. And to this, we are going to be adding one at a time. Very important that it's one at a time. Eggs, and we will show you that process. We are going to be using 4 eggs, and like I said, we're going to be doing them one at a time. We put our mixer on low. I apologize for the noise. See, there's some steam coming up. We don't want it to be too hot. We're letting that cool down a little bit. So I'm going to be adding the eggs. Okay, so that is it. It's going to be mixing up. It's kind of slimy when you put them in. And you wait until it's entirely incorporated. And once the egg is fully incorporated in, you add a second egg. And when that is incorporated, you add a third egg. And when that is incorporated, you add the fourth and final egg. And then when that is incorporated, you're ready to begin. There, we have added our fourth and final egg. So soon we'll be able to begin the shaping process where we form our pastries. And then we will be baking them in the oven. Okay, here we are ready for it to be formed into our shapes. It's a very sticky dough. You really don't want to touch it, so I find I use a spoon and then push it off with another spoon. And we're going to be putting it on a lightly greased baking sheet and in the oven at 400 degrees. And so I will get doing that, and I will show you where we're at. Okay, I am making fairly large ones, so I drop them by spoonfuls onto the tray. If you were to put them in a piping bag and pipe your long shapes, you will make the eclair shape. I'm just going to do them as cream puffs because it's just easier and less messy. And our oven is heated up, so I'm going to put them into our 400 degree oven. And we're going to set the timer. Because they're fairly large, we're going to set the timer for about 45 minutes. I have made smaller individual ones that were done in about 36 minutes. And so when the timer goes off, we will come back. We still have about 11 minutes according to the timer that I set. We're going to take a look at them. And, oh, they are done. There is no need to let them stay any longer. So we're going to take those out and put these in. Okay, immediately transfer them to a little cooling rack. And then we're going to split them a little bit. Now, we might have been able to let them stay, but I was afraid that the bottom would get a little overdone. If you make smaller ones, they cook a lot more evenly. So we are going to take a little knife, a pointy knife, and we are going to, if I can hold this, I can't do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take and put a little slit in them, like that, and let the steam out. See, do that, let the steam out, because that keeps them from going soggy. So we're going to do that to the rest of these, and then I will show you what we do after that. After we split them open, you take a fork and you take out all that uncooked stuff, because that will make them soggy, and we don't want them soggy. We like them to stay nice and puffy and crispy. So we do that to all of them, and then we let them finish cooling.